Well, it seems like, ladies and gentlemen, companies going down this woke route, all of them seem to be on, doesn't just stop at beer, clothing, makeup, Lego. Have I missed any out? Probably. But it stretches as far as fast food. Now, yep, I'm sure you've all seen this. Chick-fil-A have become the big talking point because people have managed to find out that this company has now adopted the principles, the terms, the buzzwords of diversity, equity, and inclusion. We all know what those buzzwords mean. We all know what a company stands for when they start to preach those things. And not only that, we have this clip going viral of the previous CEO of Chick-fil-A saying some very interesting things and acting in a very interesting way, all under the umbrella of virtue signaling. So obviously this has led to calls for a boycott all over social media. And interestingly, I wasn't aware of this, but this company has also faced a boycott before from the other side of the political spectrum because Chick-fil-A is viewed as this company who adopts Christian values. They close on Sundays. I think just about every company should close on Sundays, but that is just me. So Chick-fil-A isn't a stranger to controversy or boycotts, but at this point, which company isn't a stranger to those things, right? So our first thing that we're going to be taking a look at is this viral video going around everywhere of the former CEO of Chick-fil-A. The Daily Mail goes on to report footage of the Chick-fil-A boss Dan Cathy saying apparently white people should shine black people's shoes from 3 years ago resurfaces in the wake of the Christian firm hiring diversity officer. The 3-year-old video from Dan Cathy, son of Chick-fil-A founder S. Truett Cathy, getting down on his knees and shining the shoes of Lecrae Moore, I believe his name is, a black Christian rapper at the Atlanta church. While discussing the topic of repentance at a June 14th roundtable at Passion City Church, Cathy said the world needs to have a sense of shame, embarrassment, and an apologetic heart. Now that is actually quite funny to me because if I also acted in the way that this former CEO acted, I too would feel a sense of shame, embarrassment, and I would be apologizing to everybody for getting on my knees and shining somebody's shoes all into virtue signal. It's so strange, it is very bizarre, and I'm sure most of you are on the edge of your seats to see this viral clip, so I'm just gonna allow it to play and I'll see you in a bit.
Some of our closing moments here, but a story that was shared with me by a dear friend who shared with me about a revival and at that revival on the front seat was an older African American men, and this young man got up that was there in that service, and he'd been so gripped with conviction about the racism that was in that local community in a small town in Texas that he took a shoe brush and he walked over to this elderly gentleman and he knelt on his knees and began to shine his shoes. So I invite folks to put some words to action here. And if we need to find somebody that needs to have their shoe shine, we need to just go right on over and shine their shoes. And whether they got tennis shoes on or not, maybe they got sandals on, it really doesn't matter. But there's a time in which we need to have, some personal action here. Maybe we need to give them a hug too, brother. And so any expressions of a contrite heart, of a sense of humility, a sense of shame, a sense of embarrassment, beget with an apologetic heart.
It is so cringe, man. It's unbelievable. So yeah, this is what top tier virtue signaling looks like, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to racism, for anybody that was interested. Now, what is strange to me, apart from this clip that we just all saw, is when anybody virtue signals, that's all they do. They don't actually do anything to benefit the black communities, whether it's in America or even the UK. They do these virtue signals to help their own image, their brand image, and because the woke mind virus has taken a hold of them and they do something cringeworthy. But when it comes to doing actual positive things within these communities, they don't do it. And I'm not talking about donating to things like BLM, where your money will really only pay for the bills and the mansions that they've bought, and they're going bankrupt too. And I'm not talking about reparations either. I'm talking about positive action within the communities, helping people get a better sense of direction, going in there, seeing why crime is so rife, helping people with education, putting them on the right track, positive action. But when it comes to that and taking action on those things, it's like Chick-fil-A on a Sunday, radio silent. Instead of people doing all these virtue signals, why don't they actually go into these communities and take action? Oh, because that would require work, wouldn't it? And not to look great in front of the cameras. It's all for show. Now, to go along with Chick-fil-A being called out for that, they're also being called out for the notion the idea of hiring a VP for diversity, equity, and inclusion. I believe his name is Eric McReynolds. And as I said in the beginning, we all know what a company ends up standing for when they preach those buzzwords, what the future entails, especially when they give out statements like this that apparently is from the VP of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Chick-fil-A restaurants have long been recognized as a place where people know they will be treated well. Modeling care for others starts in the restaurant, and we are committed to ensuring mutual respect, understanding, and dignity everywhere we do business. These tenets are good business practice and crucial to fulfilling our corporate purpose. One of our core values at Chick-fil-A Inc. is that we are better together. When we combine our unique backgrounds and experiences with a culture of belonging, we can discover new ways to strengthen the quality of care we deliver to customers, to the communities we serve, and to the world. We understand that getting better at together means we learn better, care better, grow better, and serve better. Not only apparently is their food a mouthful, but this whole statement is as well. Chick-fil-A Inc.'s commitment to being better at together means embedding diversity, equity, and inclusion in everything we do. When a company says words like we are embedding diversity, equity, and inclusion, the alarm bells start ringing. I'm very interested to see how they go about that. Maybe America will end up with drag queens at the tills and Chick-fil-A. Who knows? It probably will happen. It is 2023. But perhaps, all jokes aside, maybe this all ties into them being at the command, and many other companies as well, at the command of these ESG CEI index scores. Now, most of you know what ESG scores are, right? I brought up the CEI index scores in a previous video, and some people were a bit confused. Some people left comments saying, is he talking about ESG scores? What is a CEI index score? So I'm going to put this video here that explains it really well and may give a little bit of insight as to why all of these companies are going down these routes. Take a watch.
Let me explain. Target's largest shareholders are Vanguard, State Street, and BlackRock. These corporations support the Corporate Equality Index, or CEI. This is a rating system for how much American businesses support the LGBT community. If Target's CEO does not support the LGBT community well, then he's not going to be reelected by the shareholders. So sometimes corporations like Target push LGBT marketing campaigns, not because they particularly want to or it's good for profits. They do it for a high CEI score.
If they get a bad score, then the woke investor funds start putting pressure on the boards. Woke activists are mobilized out in the streets. Advertising campaigns are shut down. Anyone that continues to do business with them will also be penalized.
Who made up and gives this score? An organization called the HRC, a massive political lobbying group. Apparently, HRC sends representatives to corporations every year, telling them the kind of stuff they have to make visible at the company, give them a list of demands, and if they don't follow through, there's a threat that they won't keep their CEI credit score.
So you can see, right, how deep this goes, how far the credit scores stretch. And I wouldn't be surprised if fast food companies now also have to adopt these policies and go down this route. I know this VP of diversity, equity, and inclusion was hired around 2020, 2021, but because all of these companies now are underneath a microscope, people are only really finding out about this stuff now. Does Chick-fil-A, however, deserve a boycott that a load of people are calling for? I'm not sure. You kind of have to wait and see how they respond to this. If they do respond to it, I don't think it's anywhere near the levels of a Bud Light, a North Face, a Target. See how they respond to it. If they double down on the decision, then I think people will just end up not going there regardless. But only time will tell if anything happens. It is June, it is Pride Month, so I do highly expect a big company to come out and do something very controversial, and this will probably be forgotten about. But what is your opinions on this situation, ladies and gentlemen? Will you stop eating at Chick-fil-A? Do you think they deserve a boycott? I would love to know. If you have enjoyed today's video, then please, for me, make sure to leave a like rating. If you're new, hit that subscribe button and turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video. But until next time, it has been your boy JD. Have a great day, stay safe, and I'm out. Peace.